For this next video, I'd like to take things in a bit more of a personal direction, at least on my end of things. I think it's important for us to emphasize the need for self-reflection in our daily lives, particularly when it comes to how we engage with the media in all of its forms. But before we get there, I would like to ask a couple questions and maybe try to help get some thoughts moving about how we go about this self-reflective process. And that is in an effort to sort of guide the direction of where I'd like this channel to go. So for those watching, take a moment and consider a typical day in your life. What sorts of things do you consider to be true about the world that you hold with you in your day-to-day interactions? Do you believe in objective truths? Do you ever feel as though you're having thoughts that are not entirely your own? And would you even know it if that happened to be the case? I can recall a time not too long ago, in fact, where I lived with the assumption that I was in complete control of everything that I thought and did. My heart and mind were impenetrable strongholds of calm, cool, and well-grounded thoughts and beliefs about reality. I was convinced that I was so switched on, and that I believed that I had a bead on anything and anyone who would ever dare try to manipulate or control me. This delusional type of confidence bred an overinflated sense of self-superiority. I was above the crowd and way ahead of the curve when it came to matters of truth and understanding how the world worked. Specifically, I knew that I was way out ahead of all those people who were just so utterly wrapped up in politics and the mainstream media machine. To me, only weak-minded fools were so easily influenced by the media, and I certainly could not be counted among those people. I mean, I was awake, you know. If you had asked me how the world worked, I could give you any vague, generalized, talking point style platitude that would suit the present need in any conversational environment that I might find myself in. And I could do it with a smug, almost violent arrogance that would likely make you sick to your stomach. I likely ruined a lot of close relationships or potential relationships by behaving in this way. I was certain that I had things under control and totally figured out. That is, until I had to start answering some questions. Not terribly difficult or complex questions. I was simply asked to lay out my arguments and my thinking regarding my values and what I thought about the world and how I understood things to be. And then I was asked to defend what I was so sure to be the way things were. I was in for an embarrassing shock when I realized that I was full of hot air and not able to definitively state any of my positions with so much as a shred of the confidence that I was carrying throughout the day. All that bravado and smugness I walked around with turned out to be really just a defense against exposure to the true level of ignorance and lack of intellectual integrity. Well, so what happened? Where did I go wrong? What was I missing? Well, first I had to admit some things to myself. That my thoughts and behaviors, no matter how deeply I believed were original to me, were merely a copy of some other system of processing the world, which suited my ego's desire to feel a certain level of emotional satisfaction throughout each day. Put simply, my philosophical drive for the way I thought and lived was to be happy and comfortable at all costs. Put more complexly, I, over many years, had developed a persona whose identity was informed by both outer and inner stimulus and created to reflect to the world a specific caricature of the person that I imagined would appear unassailable and optimally beneficial to me towards gaining the things that I deemed important in life. This facade was one that was specifically catered to mask and hide my deep-seated insecurities, fears, and faults, and to instead project an image that was wholly created by me to my exact specifications for what I thought I needed to be happy and safe. It was all a fake, a complete and utter lie, a totally fabricated simulation made to fool myself and everyone around me to ignore the truth so that I could soothe the pain that I felt from having to confront reality in all of its terrible beauty.